if we sew the dog's head onto the man's body. Great idea!
Nigga, what the fuck?
Holy shit, I already have my most anticipated film of 2025 and it only comes out in January. Following the footsteps of Captain Underpants, this is the DogMan movie coming from our good friends at Dreamworks. To be honest, I never actually read any of the DogMan books, I was more of a Captain Underpants guy myself. But wow, this trailer alone has me hooked. I was kinda skeptical when I found out the guy that made the Captain Underpants movie isn't directing this one, but it did give me some hope knowing the actual director was a big part of the TV show from what I know. And the actual movie seems to have that same kind of feel, though I'm praying for a George, Harold, or Captain Underpants cameo at some point.
Huzzah! Out of the road, bozo! Why, thank you, vehicle person.
So for those who don't know, this story follows Greg the dog and his unnamed best friend cop while they die horrifically because of a bomb accident. Fortunately, Greg's head is still alive but unnamed cop's body is still functional. They rip off the dog's head and sew it onto unnamed cop's body, who, by the way, I think is just dead. Yeah, we never see him again. Rip unnamed cop. Nobody cares about him, I guess. Yeah, this origin story was always kinda iffy, but at the same time it's so stupid I can't help but laugh at it. Insert Dogman, and I guess he doesn't care that his owner has been killed. You also got Garfield's evil twin Petey. He's sick of hearing about Dogman, and his evil plan is to destroy all good people. It's up to Dogman to stop him, and yeah, that's basically the plot the trailer gives us. Also, Petey is voiced by Pete Davidson.
The dark circles around his eyes.
He probably has his rings around his eyes because he's working all the time.
Who, by the way, is kind of ruined for me after starring in that Marmaduke shit. Ricky Gervais is in this, that moose thing from Harold and the Purple Crayon is also in this as the chief, and the titled character, voiced by the director of this film, basically just makes dog noises, which makes him voiceless like he was in the books, with no shoved-in celebrity voice to speak of. Not to say I have a problem with celebrities voicing cartoon characters. Kevin Hart as George Beard was actually peak casting, but I'm glad they went the extra mile of faithfulness by not giving a character that speaks little words a celebrity voice that barely fits. Oh, I get the Minecraft comparison now. You also got the animation of this new Dreamworks movie, which obviously looks spectacular. Now, I thought the Captain Underpants movie already looked amazing, but Dogman dials it up a bit by giving it this stop-motion effect so that it kind of looks like the Peanuts movie. It gives off more of a childlike feel, which is funny since in the Captain Underpants cinematic universe, George and Harold are the ones who created the Dogman books. I love when my adaptations pay tribute to the style of the source material with no live-action bullshit to speak of. Now, there's just one little question I would like to ask to a certain company by the name of Disney, and that is, what the hell were they smoking when they made the— Alright, so, you guys know Diary of a Wimpy Kid, right? The one with that Charlie Brown looking asshole? That behemoth of a book series that spawned 3 live-action movies? Well, 3 good ones anyway. They made a 4th movie that serves literally no purpose other than memes. After that disaster, Jeff Kenny, the creator of Wimpy Kid, wanted to do something different. He wanted to do an animated adaptation of his book Cabin Fever. That ultimately went nowhere until Disney bought Fox and was like, oh yeah, this is a Fox property, we should probably do something with it. Insert the Disney Plus films. Look, I didn't mind the first one. It didn't make me want to curl myself like the long haul did. I didn't like the second one as much, but the third one is definitely the best out of the bunch, which actually isn't saying much. Now, the main question a lot of people ask while looking at these is, why the hell does it look like that? When this movie was first announced and I saw the animation test, it looked great. It actually tries to mimic the 2-dimensional style these doodle designs were literally designed for. It looked so faithful. So what the hell happened here? Someone working on these movies had to have known that these characters simply aren't designed to be 3D models, which is why you should do the 2D perspective like the animation test intended. I mean, I guess I should give them credit for trying to make these designs as faithful to the source material as possible, but it's really just the designs. The backgrounds don't do much. I mean, look at Dreamworks' Dogman and its backgrounds. Those look like they were ripped straight out of the book. They show personality. Same could be said for Captain Underpants. These backgrounds look extremely basic, like they're trying to be hyper-realistic but don't have the money to actually do so it ends up looking bland, not to mention the lack of squash and stretch, something that was heavily used in films like Captain Underpants, Peanuts, and Garfield. which is me saying they barely utilize the fact that they're cartoons given the designs. There are some visual flourishes that make me go, okay, solid, but they happen so rarely. It just sucks, man. Jeff Kinney deserves better than this, even though he already has 3 masterpieces on his belt. Actually, I probably shouldn't bully any of the people who animated this. Maybe it was because of COVID. Maybe they just didn't have enough time to animate it. Maybe the miserable budget really did restrict some things. If it was some fan animation done by like a 16-year-old, that would be amazing. But no, it's from a multi-billion-dollar conglomerate that would much rather waste their money on live-action remakes nobody wants, but continue to give attention to anyway. Sure, Disney, don't give a movie based on one of the highest-selling book franchises of all time an actual budget. Really shows how much they care compared to studios like Dreamworks or Sony or fuck it, Illumination. The fucking Lorax movie looks better than anything Disney has done with Wimpy Kid. That shouldn't be the case, but that's the timeline we're living in. I don't know, maybe these films will look better as they go on. I mean, the Christmas one is definitely the best looking, but again, that's not saying much. All I know is that the DogMan movie looks really fucking sick, and I cannot wait to see it in theaters. This is the Captain Underpants movie of our generation. Continue to ignore these Wimpy Kid movies unless they do something different, and wait for the DogMan movie, as well as the Wild Robot for good measure. But what do you think? Are you loving DogMan? Are you hating Disney? Are you mixed on both of them? Tell me about it in the comments. Bye-bye.
But nights at Freddy's, that's where I wanna be.